welcome to our call. We're super excited that you're here. You can keep yourself muted with your camera off, or you can turn your camera on. It's up to you. We're gonna wait probably 1 more minute to see if anyone else wants to show up, but we are excited. We do have some great information to share with you, and then we will get your questions answered at the end of the call. Our first presenter is from the Office of New Student and Leadership Programs. It's Brandy Van Zanden. Brandy, go ahead and take it away.
All right, welcome. So my name is Brandy Van Zanden. I am the Director of New Student and Leadership Programs. So our office oversees anything related to new students, leadership programs, and parent programs as well. So we are the office that will mostly be working with our parents throughout the summer and throughout their students' journey at Lamar. So some of our upcoming programs, we will be hosting a virtual orientation leader panel. So if you have questions that you would like to ask students and hear from a student's perspective, on July 22nd, we will be hosting that panel. And then we'll be adding some upcoming virtual programs throughout the rest of the summer once more information is kind of given out. So, and one really great resource for our parents and family members is our newsletter. So if you have not done that, on our website, which is lamar.edu/parents, you can sign up to receive our newsletter. It does get sent out virtually through email. So you'll just register for that, and then we put it out every fall and spring semester. It has information about what's happening on campus, what to look forward to, what your students are up to, things like that. So it's definitely a very great resource to stay connected. And then our Parent and Family Weekend, which will be this fall, November 7th. It is hosted around a football game, tailgate. We'll have lots of great fun, and registration will open in September for that. And some of our other programs that we hope you get your students involved in while they get here this fall would be our Week of Welcome. So starting the first day of move-in up until that next weekend, we do have a Week of Welcome, which will be programs that are for free for all students to attend. So we host multiple events throughout the week for them to get involved in. In September, we host our leadership conference. So if your student is interested in gaining more leadership skills or becoming a better leader while they're on campus, this is a great opportunity for them. It's a one-day conference with multiple workshops. And then we also offer a leadership certificate program, which is the whole fall semester, or in the spring they could do it. They apply for this program, and then they meet once a week with their class, and then their class teaches them leadership skills. So it's a really good program for, again, those incoming students or sophomore level students who are wanting to expand their leadership programs. Okay. So if you aren't following us on social media, please do. We also, if you have any questions, parents@lamar.edu is our email, and I'll put it in the chat for you guys. So just stay connected to us. We want to be a resource for you while your student is here. So again, if you have any questions, put it in the chat and we will answer them at the end.
Awesome, thank you so much, Brandy. Up next, we have Jocelyn Robbins with the Center for Career and Professional Development Center. You got this.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. So basically, we just have a really long title for what's known as the Career Center for our department. And it's really a great tool for students to start using early. We have a lot of professional development resources available to students to help them transition from their college journey into their chosen profession and getting onto their respective career ladders. We have a lot of services available to students. We encourage them, hey, freshman year, take advantage of our services, get to know your career consultant. This is definitely not an office of one. We have a number of career consultants dedicated to each college that stay in the know related to those particular industries or job opportunities related to students in those respective colleges. And so as we talk about students, now going from high school into college, you know, we have those students that may know very well, hey, I want to go study and major in biology, or I want to major in chemical engineering. And they may know what they want to do as far as studying that, but what do they want to do with that degree? So we utilize a series of career assessments as well as meeting with that student and going through career exploration to help them hone in on find out what is it that they want to do with that degree. At the same time too, it's typical, on average, students may change their major. I believe the latest number was about 3.5 times throughout their time in college. So we ask parents not to panic if their student mentions, you know, the desire to change their major or explore something else. If you're picking up on those signals, hey, tell them to come meet with someone in the Career Center. We can help explore those options. What are those interests to try to get them on track to a program here at the university, and explore how can we apply your interests and the skills that you have into something that would be successful for you. So really wanting to make sure that they can get on track early in that collegiate journey academically to see what those potential outcomes can be after graduation, whether that be continuing on to graduate school, you know, getting on that career ladder and seeing those next steps. We really just want to make sure our career consultants stay in tune with job market labor trends, what skills are necessary, and then working with their academic coursework to make sure that they're going to be successful in those programs. Of course, you know, with any career center, you're going to have those services related to your resumes, cover letter critiques, really helping those students hone in and articulate those skills that they're gaining in the classroom and how those apply to potential opportunities for internships or full-time employment, and really marketing themselves to these employers. And talking about marketing yourself, you know, you need to make sure you have the right job search resources as well. So we have a lot of strategies to work with students, especially now as things are kind of moving virtually with a lot of recruiters and employers, making sure that they're taking advantage of virtual connections with employers. Preparing too for those interviews. Mock interviews are probably one of the more underutilized services that can prove the greatest benefit for students. You know, some students have, it's strange. You can put them on social media and they'll talk all about themselves, but once you put them in an interview, it's kind of like, wait, what do I say? So getting them comfortable with talking about themselves to that employer, what they bring to the table for those job opportunities, and really helping them connect to that potential opportunity with an employer. And then also we have Handshake, which is our job database. Currently, we have about 4,000, a little over 4,000 opportunities available for students, both full-time, internship positions. So there still are opportunities out there for them to really have experiential learning and really get a foothold in whatever it is that they may choose to pursue here at college. We do house career fairs. We host those on campus. We have those employers that know the academic rigor that Lamar University students go through, and they know that they're qualified for their positions, and they're eager to get them in their talent pipeline. So they come to on-campus events to, whether it be networking or whether it be a career fair, they really want to get connected with Lamar University students. And we really encourage, you know, freshmen, first-year students, come to these career fairs. While you may not be looking for that job at this moment, you can start connecting and building your own network of potential employers for when that time comes and when you're ready to jump into an internship or that full-time employment opportunity. We also host a lot of workshops. We'll partner with a lot of academic departments, student organizations, in addition to hosting our own workshops throughout the year to really help students take the time to develop a lot of these skills, become familiar with some of the tips and tricks essentially related to their job search, and really just helping them be comfortable with the process that can, you know, be entailed as far as searching for that job, going through the process of interviewing, and being prepared for landing that opportunity. So one of the other services that is provided through our department is we do have a couple of testing labs that we oversee. So if your student is considering potentially going into the nursing program, they may choose to take the HESI with us, which has to do with the consideration of their application for the nursing program here at the university. In addition, if they had to take the TSI, they may have reached out to us and worked with us as we are offering that virtually over the summer for students to help with their advising components. If they choose to go into graduate school, we have the GMAT or the GRE, as well as a lot of licensure and certifications related to those professional programs like CPA, Praxis, Texas teacher certifications, and things of that nature. So really, it does kind of help them transition into what could come next. The other thing that's really important for families to know is we're not really anything extra in the sense of it's intended to be extra work for the student. We really try to blend this and understand that the student has a lot of demands on them. They may be involved in student organizations. They may have a heavy class load. It's not meant for them to take on additional responsibilities, but again, helping them articulate what they're already doing and putting those in clearly easy to review documents for these employers, how to sell themselves to these employers when those opportunities come to get in front of a recruiter, and take advantage of the opportunities they have here on campus. So while they may have to block off a little bit of extra time to maybe come to that career fair, it's not meant to add a lot of burden to that student, because they're doing a lot of these things already in the classroom or with their student organizations, and they're gaining a lot of these skills for employers to see and take advantage of. And just knowing too that while we want students to be connected with us early, hey, freshman year would be ideal. Our services are not just limited to current students, but our services are also available to alumni as well.
Awesome, thank you so much. Up next, we do have Sergeant Sanford with LUPD.
Hello. Well, this is some of our contact information that we have for our police department. I guess first and foremost, yes, we are a fully functioning police department. We have about 28 certified commissioned officers with the state of Texas. And you can go ahead and go to the next slide. I've already started touching on some of this. Sorry, so quick. Yeah, we are open 24/7. We don't close. We've been open continuously through this pandemic that we've been going through. I guess because there's way too many things that are here on campus that would walk away without us. Again, our police officers are certified with the state of Texas, but most of us have gone through the Regional Police Academy right here at LIT, and I've just never left. Okay, next slide. Okay, we have campus safety officers. Their primary function here on campus is to escort students, faculty, and staff here around campus. We never want any of anybody in our community to feel insecure here on campus, so we do offer that. So say you have a student that is at the library at late hours of the night and they don't feel secure walking back to their residence hall. Well, that's what we're here for. Of course, we'll send a CSO to that location. Again, they're not police officers, but they have radios and ways to get in contact with us if something was to occur, that we would be there quickly. Again, we always have staff here, so that's what we do. Their secondary functions that they do are some of our community service functions. Your student will most likely lock their vehicle and lock their keys in their vehicle. We get that a lot. They have unlock kits and they've been trained to get into the vehicles. So you don't have to worry about calling a wrecker or a locksmith or somebody. They've been trained to do that. And also, like right around testing times, our students leave their, not only their keys in their car, they leave the lights on and they come back to the dreaded click. We also send our CSOs out with jump packs to get their vehicles started for them as well. Our Cardinal Village Residence Hall security, they are there. Again, those aren't police officers, but they're there under our umbrella. They're just to monitor who's coming into the residence halls and make sure that those who are coming in are supposed to be coming in. Our LU shuttle service, during the regular semester, our shuttles run around during the day on and around campus. And even on the weekends, it goes to a local mall, a HEB grocery store, and a super Walmart. So if there's things that they can't get here on campus, they do have an avenue. Even if they do not have transportation, they have transportation. Okay, and this is a way that you as a parent could probably stay in track with what's going on here on campus. This is another way that you have access to some of the resources that we have here on campus, even emergency lines and things like that. You can get through this app. Lamar University's partnered up with LiveSafe is the name of the app. It's a free app. It works on Android and Apple devices. Again, it gives you a whole list of resources here on campus, including emergency numbers if there is something that if your student isn't around one of the blue pole lines, that they could push the button to contact us. They could actually use their device to get in contact with us. And it's not just police things. If they see something that may be hazardous to themselves or to another student, like a limb hanging from a tree or something that could be problematic to somebody else, they could call, and it gives them the option to take a picture of that, or they could report it directly by contacting us. Also through this app, I mentioned a moment ago, the shuttle service, it gives them, they can see the GPS of the actual shuttle, where the shuttle is right now in reference to where they are. It opens it up in a map and they can see the shuttle actually moving. So if they are at the mall, they don't have to wait outside. They can stay inside, they can see, okay, the shuttle's pulling up, and then they can step out to it. That's just another precautionary thing that's there for them.
Awesome, awesome. So up next, we do have Miss Bethany Bowman with the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships.
Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Bethany Bowman. I'm the Director of Financial Aid here at Lamar University. My counterpart, Rebecca Maxwell, the Director of Scholarships, couldn't be with us today, but I have some information for that as well. We are located in Wimberley on the second floor. Right now, we are partially staffed. In the interest of containing the pandemic, I've got a skeleton crew at the office, but we are fully functional. We're processing paperwork, we're answering emails, we're answering the phone. We can also be reached by chat. We do virtual advising sessions, so we encourage you to take advantage of that. Shoot us an email at financialaid@lamar.edu. And we will do either a Zoom or a Teams virtual meeting with you or your child and answer all the questions. We'll share our screen, so we can do everything we've always been able to do. So we want to definitely reassure families of that. Next slide. So sending your child to college, it's a major investment of time. In fact, it's probably one of the most decisions you're ever going to make. And families use a combination of resources and financial aid to cover the cost of college. Most families, particularly when we look at LU, so for instance at Lamar, 82% of our entire student population use some kind of resources provided by the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid. So to tell you that more than every other student on campus is going to either use a loan or a grant or something that has come from our office. And I wanted to show you the Federal Student Aid website. It's a great resource. It's one that you're going to be at least once a year. Every October, you and your child are going to go to this website. You're going to renew your FAFSA. We have high hopes it's going to open, but if not, it's just studentaid.gov. But in addition to that, one of the other reasons I want to show this to you is it's a great resource for you. So if you see something that you don't know, you want to learn more about the types of loans that are available to your child or to you, or you want to know what does your child need to do, because one of the things your child has to do before they take out their aid is they have to complete counseling and all these things. But again, it's your child, right? Because this is their education, and whether we're ready or not, they are adults, and this is their game now. But if you want to provide support and you want to be in the know as well, you could go here and it's going to tell you everything you need to know about different types of aid, how financial aid works, important things to know. And it's just a wonderful tool. The other thing, because your student is on a journey now, there's also information for once they get out of school and they go into repayment. Let's say you and your child decide that using student loans is the right choice for you. There's loan calculators. So your child can, after they go visit career services and they decide, you know what, I think I want to be a science teacher. Well, Career Services is going to help them understand what that means, I believe, right? Outlook Handbook is going to even help them understand what their salary may be. And then you're going to cruise on over here and you're going to use the loan simulator to determine, okay, well, let's see, how much can I borrow them? What can I afford to pay back, assuming I'm going to be a teacher? So all these tools are out there. And I always like to really empower families to look at that so that you have all that information and you can make a really informed decision. And then you can also have a much more impactful conversation with me and my team members. So if you remember nothing else about financial aid, and trust me, it's a lot and it's not the most exciting thing you're going to learn about today, but it's one of those, it's necessary. So the FAFSA, you have to fill out the FAFSA every single year. Remember, it's your child's FAFSA. So you'll partner with your child to do it. They're going to need information from you. They're going to need your electronic signature, but it is their FAFSA. And I say that to say that we're going to communicate with them. In fact, there are all kinds of laws that were enacted to protect our children and our young people. The Higher Education Act says that if you're listed on the FAFSA, I can tell you some things, but predominantly I need to be communicating with your child. You have to apply every year. In October, it opens. The deadline is February 1. If you miss that deadline, it doesn't mean you're not going to get any aid or your child's not going to get aid. It just means you're going to get less than you could have received. So, as corny as it sounds, apply before the pie. Before you sit down to eat that Thanksgiving pie, you should have filled out your FAFSA for next year, okay? It is always free to apply for financial aid. Unfortunately, like so many things, we have to be, buyer beware. We have to be really vigilant consumers. So be very mindful that you are only going to that website that I showed you to fill out your FAFSA. There are multiple other imposter sites out there that may charge you, but the first F in FAFSA stands for free. So you should never pay for your FAFSA application to be completed or to be filled out or to be processed by a school. If you have multiple children in college, they each need their own FAFSA. It's not one FAFSA per family, it's one FAFSA per child. Make sure that you are giving us all the requested documentations that we're asking for. And we're going to do that again. We're going to communicate with your child through their LU email address and their Banner self-serve. If you go to our main website and just type in check your status, it's going to bring you to this page and it's going to give you the steps that you need with your child to log into your Banner financial aid and actually view not only your financial aid, your missing documents, you can also view the bill. So those are really important things. I know as part of your child's new student orientation, they show them how to get into their Banner self-serve. So they may need a reminder, but this is where all the information is. This will be updated regularly. And then just one final note, I have been in financial aid for 14 years. And it's interesting, there have been some huge changes and then there are some things that absolutely never change. One of the biggest things that never changes is parents and children have very different expectations, right? For the experience and everything. And I see heads nodding for my colleagues who have children and for the parents. It is, in some ways we speak very different languages, right? And we filter everything we hear through our life experience. Well, their life experience is so small. And so they simply don't have the filter. And so when I see children struggle, when I see families struggle, I've seen families acquire debt trying to put their children through college. And I would never, and it's because they weren't on the same page. So my greatest piece of advice when it comes to funding your child's education, and kind of, again, I have to go back to what Jocelyn said in career services. Your child may be giving you cues, so listen to those. If they're saying, I think I might need to change my major, make sure you're mindful of that because we want them to be in the major they're going to be most successful at. We don't want them borrowing loans in a major that maybe their aptitudes don't go. But just be very clear with your child about what your expectations are long before you bring them to move-in day on campus. It's always a little startling to students when they don't realize that their parent does expect them to work on campus and contribute in some way, shape, or form. We can provide all the support in the world, but those are things that every family has to decide for themselves. Do you need your child to adhere to a strict budget while they're in school? I can tell you as a financial aid administrator, I strongly encourage you to be very clear about this is how much money you have every month to spend. This is what I'm going to provide you, and this is what I expect you to provide. Because remember, if your child gets what we call a financial aid refund, that's the extra money from either loans you or they have borrowed that student is supposed to be using to support their education. That's a large lump sum of money that child gets. And a lot of our young people, they've never received a lump sum of money. In fact, we all know adults who, when they receive a lump sum of money, don't make great choices. So they may run out and do things with it that probably may not line up with what your expectations. So make sure you outline those. I'll be real honest, I have had to have many hard three-way conversations with parent, child, and me explaining what happened to the refund and have to get that child on the phone. And the child says, well, I got new headlights for my car. I got a grill for my car. I went and bought a designer handbag. And I have to tell mom, well, that's the child made the choices they made, and I can't unring that bell. So just make sure that you and your child are on the same page. And if we can help with those conversations, if you have questions for me don't hesitate to reach out and ask, questions about what's expected academically of my child to keep all this financial aid. We make it clear to your child, but I also want you to understand too. I want this to be, I always say financial aid administrators, our job is to partner with you and your child and walk with you through this journey for your child. So, but you got to reach out to us for that. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions if you want to get some ammunition for those important conversations you're having with your child. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I think I have, hopefully, there we go. I'm going to turn it over to the Health Center.
Awesome. Okay, so the Health Center with Sean Gray.
Hi, how are you? My name is Sean Gray. I'm the director of the Student Health Center here at Lamar. A little bit about us. I have 3 sub-departments. I have the mental health department, I have the medical clinic, and I also have the health education department. We're located right across from the dining hall, and we're right here on campus and easily accessible. Let's talk a little bit about our medical services. We are kind of like your doctor's office on campus. So anytime your student would be sick, cough, cold, sneezing, stomach upset, sprains, minor rashes, anything you'd see your family physician for, those students are welcome to come in, make an appointment, and see us for it. We also do preventative maintenance and preventative medicine. We do women's health, the pap smears, the STI screens, men's STI screens, physicals, and immunizations. We do have a pharmacy. It's a very limited pharmacy here on campus, and we're cheap. Oh my gosh, we're cheap. So we are able to provide certain creams, antibiotics, things like that to the student right here when they come in for their appointment. We know that we're not able to provide all medical services to students, so we have some specialists that we can refer to. We also have outpatient imaging, which would be if a student came in and needed an x-ray or something like that. We do have laboratory services here on campus, so we do draw blood and are able to do some testing, things like that. One thing that you need to be aware of is the requirements for the meningitis vaccine. That is a state law. The state requires that it's a very specific vaccine. It's called the MCV4. It covers 4 different strains of meningitis. The meningitis B vaccine is highly recommended, but it is not the one that the state requires. So make sure that there's a form on the Office of Admissions and Recruitment page. When you download that and bring it to your healthcare provider, or they could bring it to us, they will provide them with the correct vaccine. Go ahead. Our counseling services or mental health services, our counselors are quite busy. They are, all of my providers, medical and counseling, are licensed in the state of Texas and carry malpractice insurance and are fully functioning medical and mental health providers. They're quite busy, and the counseling department is not here just for students that are having issues with depression or anxiety, although that's a big part of it, but relationships, self-care, test anxiety, ADHD testing, time management, building a support network if they feel like they're not really getting connected with other students on campus, and we help them with effective communication. So if they're having difficulty expressing themselves to professionals, professors, faculty, other staff members, my counselors are able to do that. We also have a crisis intervention or suicidal ideation assault crisis intervention team. So if a student ever gets to the point where they're needing immediate care, we have protocols, and we work very closely with our police department to ensure that the students are safe, and we get them to an outside facility for a secondary screening. Go ahead. And then my last sub-department is health education. These are my party planners. They create all these wonderful programs about mental health and stress and nutrition and health and wellness, relationships, what looks healthy. So it's the wellness side of the medical and counseling, alcohol and other drugs and how that affects your body and your mental health. They're quite creative with their programming, and students really enjoy seeing the health education side. Yeah, I can see Emily laugh and say, yeah, those are fun. We have a lot of fun with those. A few things you need to know. All of our services are $10. There's no money exchanged here. It's just posted on the student's banner account. They need to call for an appointment. There are some online self-scheduling appointments that are available. Patient will go through a patient portal for scheduling. If you look on the Student Health Center website, all of that information is there. We do have telehealth services. They started this week. So medical appointments and counseling appointments, we do it like this. It is HIPAA protected. It's a special contract that we have with Zoom so that no confidential information is leaked through the airways. We also have a PPO insurance plan through Academic Health Plans. We are currently contracted with United Healthcare. Any student that is on the PPO insurance, all of the services that are available here at the Student Health Center are paid for by that insurance at 100%. And then it works like a regular third-party insurance with an 80-20 split for any services they would need outside or off-site from us. Go ahead. That's basically it. So you're welcome to call. The student can call anytime. Remember, again, they are adults, and we would, any information that would be shared, we would need a consent form from the student. We do always, 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 mental health and medical, we point the students back to the family and want and encourage them to have a relationship that is such that if they sign this piece of paper releasing any information, we are happy to share it with you, but we have to have their permission to do so. Again, here's our email address, our phone number, and the website. It should have all the information that you need.
Thank you so much. So our final presenter is Ms. Mary Atkinson with Housing and Residence Life.
Thanks, Emily. As Emily mentioned, my name is Mary Atkinson. I'm the Director of Housing and Residence Life. We are located, our main office is in Gentry Hall, which is one of the residence halls on campus. So feel free to stop by the office or email us or call or even check out our website, lamar.edu/residencelife. And let me add, as we've been talking, and my colleagues before me, I have to say, in my role with Housing and Residence Life, I reach out and connect with my colleagues on this call, as well as a number of others across the campus. And we fully support the efforts that we are all trying to do for our students. So it's really a great place in terms of having those connections and being able to reach out. And so if your student lives with us on campus, you know, we are working to support that it's a safe, secure, and inclusive community, obviously supportive of the academic mission. But we also want to prepare students for that life of leadership, intellectual engagement, citizenship, and civility. And I think you've heard that in some of the comments from my colleagues as well. So all of our housing, we do have a requirement that all first-year full-time students are required to live on campus. There's more information on our website about that, and you can always contact us if you have other questions. We do have 5 residence halls on campus, and we can house up to 2,500 students. All of our spaces are suite-style living, which means every resident has their own private bedroom. And so there'll be someone in the private bedroom A, someone else in private bedroom B, and then those two residents share a bathroom and the living room. So students really like that, and including the key. Emily is shaking her head because she lives with us. The key that they get to their room, it will unlock that. It's one key that unlocks the entry door, and then it'll unlock their bedroom door. It does not unlock the roommate's door. So you have your own bedroom, and that is a secure space for you to lock up. One of the big components for housing and residence life is the staff who work so closely with the students. I have 5 full-time professional live-in staff, one in each of the residence halls, who have studied and worked on receiving a master's degree and professionally have wanted to go into this field to specifically work with resident students. I also have student resident assistants that live in each of the residence halls. So there are 5 of those RAs, as we call them, in each one of the 5 residence halls. So that totals up to 40 RAs on campus. And they're really a resource for anything that comes up for a resident with us, whether it's about their roommate, whether it's, how they're feeling, whether it's even wanting or asking information about other resources on campus, or even if they don't know where to go or don't know what to do, they can always come to my staff and we will try and help them through whatever that situation is. As Sergeant Sanford mentioned earlier, there are security guards that work in the lobbies at the front doors of each of our residence halls. Part of that is because the buildings are locked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Each resident has a residence hall access card, and there's a proximity reader at the front door that will allow them entry there. And then when they go up to the station where the security guard is, they will use their ID card again at that location. Because we know that the safety and security of our residents is very important. You can always count on that our residents will have plenty of programs and activities to choose from. That's part of what the RAs do and what my professional staff do in the halls, is we know those programs and activities, again, anywhere from the fun working with, like Sean mentioned, her party planners. We love having them come into the residence halls and meet with the students, including, from Jocelyn's area and from Sergeant Sanford's area, having their staff come in or connecting with them to share resources for students. There's always something going on. We average about 200 programs each academic year that we're putting on for our resident students. And part of why we do that is the opportunities to feel connected, whether that's, sharing something with their roommate or someone else down the hall or even someone else in the building, so that they feel like they are connected to not only the residence hall community, but to the larger Lamar University community as well. Some of the important information. So if your student hasn't already, they will go to the Housing and Residence Life website and they'll complete a housing contract. That is for the entire academic year. So they'll go in the housing portal and they'll see the dates and the information for that. So please do keep that in mind when you're completing that information. We do have a policy as well that if a first-year student does not complete a housing contract or submit a housing exemption request on or before July 30th, then charges for the fall semester housing and meal plan will be placed on the student's financial account. So as you can tell, it's really important that that housing contract or that housing exemption form be submitted by the end of July. Parents and family members usually like to know, well, what about guests in the residence halls? Of course, you can come and visit and they can have other guests. The visitation is from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. During the week. On the weekends, and only on the weekends, do we allow overnight guests. Those overnight guests must be of the same gender, and they must have prior consent from the roommate, and that means that the roommate has to sign off on a form at least 48 hours in advance that provides us with the information of who is the guest who will be coming at that time. And as I mentioned, that's only for the overnight on the weekends. It's important, I know you may have those questions about, well, what should I bring? Do they really need this? I don't know about that. We do on our website have lists, suggested lists of what to bring and what to leave behind. So I would suggest that you take a look at that. We'll be sending out more information within the next couple weeks and provide additional details about that. Our scheduled move-in days for this year are going to be August 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. In order for us to support physical distancing, we are going to have a staggered approach in that parts of the residence halls, each of the residence halls will be moving in on each of those 4 days. You'll get, the student will get a specific email from us about the date and the time frame, whether that's a morning or an afternoon. And so I would encourage people to really stick to the dates and the information that they're provided. Obviously, if there's a question or a concern with that, feel free to contact us and we'll try and work with you on coordinating that schedule.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button. So we are at our last little bit. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask either on the mic, I know we have a couple people in here, or if you want to put it in the chat, we will answer any questions that you guys have. I do want to kind of put out there a general statement that the university is still working on our plan for the fall and having students return with everything with COVID. So we are working on that. The university will be putting out an announcement within the next couple weeks about what that looks like, what protocols are being put into place, what it means for classes, what it means for living on campus, not living on campus, everything like that will be addressed within the next couple weeks. Your students will get an email to their LU email, so it's really important that they're checking their Lamar email. If they're not, make sure that they are. And also we'll be posting things on our website, social media, everything. Us in the parents' office, we will probably try to have another call just so we can answer more questions as it gets closer once everything is kind of addressed and put out there, because we know that it may be a little bit confusing with everything going on, but we are working as a whole, every single department on campus, to make sure that our students, staff, faculty, everybody is safe for the fall. So otherwise, if you have any questions, now is your time, or put it in the chat if anybody.
I did have a question in regards to when could we expect financial aid to be applied? This is not a question that I am overtly concerned about. My child is. She checks her email daily. And I keep telling her to take a breath and wait. It's going to get applied. She's just concerned about, you know, how much money she's going to owe.
Yeah. So financial aid, there is actually a place in her banner self-serve. One of the tabs is award payment schedule. And so she can look there and it will show the date that her aid's going to get applied for fall semester and for spring semester. But in short, it is August 8th, so long as she is enrolled in 12 or more hours. If it's less than 12 hours, then, you know, financial aid, everything changes, because that whole package she was offered is, in fact, is based on 15 to finish. So encourage her, and her advisor should have put her in 15 hours when she goes to new student orientation. So her aid, that's when her aid will post, and just kind of a crash course for her and you. What that means is, so my office, the financial aid office, will actually take all of her aid and we will actually send it over to the cashier's office. They're going to credit it to her bill, and then if there's any balance remaining, that's what the family will be responsible for. You can, if she's already gone to new student orientation, she should already have a bill, in which case you can just look on the in banner financial aid. You can look at what she's getting for the fall, and she can look at her bill and just do the math and she'll know exactly what she's going to owe for the fall. And she can actually go ahead, and if you want to sign up for a payment plan or make a payment, all those things are active now on the cashier's website.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
Her brother would like to know, how does she register the cat as a emotional support animal so that she can also attend? I'm not worried about that, but just I asked. There you go. Thank y'all so much.
I can respond to that about the cat. Actually, my cat just walked behind me, so because I'm not in the office. There is paperwork. First, to start with the Disability Resource Center, there's paperwork in registering and providing the information that's needed. And then once they receive that information and have reviewed it, they will then refer the student to us. There's a link on our website. We have a form that's a registration form. It gives a lot of the guidelines and information that we will be asking, because we will want the copy of the vaccination records. We will want to know that the animal has, well, you just mentioned a cat, so I guess the potty training will not apply to the cat. But we will want to, also have the student understand what we expect in terms of care and making sure that the room is kept in a clean and okay environment area as well. Yes. So my staff, so once she fills out that registration form, and a couple of things on that registration, we'll also ask for a picture of the animal, just in case we find an animal somewhere that would happen to get out. Okay, and I'll admit, when I sign the forms, I like to look at the name, the size, the breed, and the picture, because it's just fun for me to see, like, what are people bringing? So yeah, once that information then gets submitted to Housing and Residence Life, we will then process it, send an email back to make sure that that we have received all that information. My staff will also do an inspection of the room, so we'll make sure and go over what does the room look like beforehand, and then during the semester they'll also come and do an inspection, and they'll schedule times so that we can make sure that that the student is managing that ESA or service animal in an appropriate way.
And thank you for the information, because I work at Westbrook, so I do have a student who graduated in 2020, and I can let the parent know this information because they do have an animal. My daughter does not. My son just wants her gone, and he graduates at the end of this year, so everybody's going to go at the end of this year. So, but thank y'all so much.
Okay, so if you can have a miniature horse as an emotional support animal. Mary, if there's a horse running down the hall, you need to notify everybody because I want to see it.
Oh, wow.
Are you kidding? I'm going to call Sergeant Sanford if there's a miniature horse running down the mansion.
Wow.
Well, if you guys do have any additional questions or anything that you guys need, I'm going to post our parent email in the chat. It's just parents@lamar.edu, and we can get you connected to the right department or the right person with whatever question you have. And then, like I said, we will be updating the university website, but also our website and social media if anything gets released and when everything gets released for the fall. And we will do additional calls if needed. So if you guys don't have any other questions, then thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Brandy, can I add one thing?
Of course.
I forgot to mention, for anyone, because we know we're not doing the campus tours or on-campus tours of the residence halls, if you want to see the space virtually, there is a tour. There's actually a couple different tours on our website. And so they will walk you through looking at a room. You can also see a floor plan. and a sample of the space. So it gives you a little bit better idea of what our residence hall spaces look like.
We visited with Karen. I visit with Karen Martinez every year when we bring a group of juniors and seniors and freshmen. And when I visited last year, I said, oh, yeah, when it's time for her to see it, she's going to fall in love with it. And she had actually committed to another university. And we decided that that was just not going to be an option. And then she drug her feet. So we came to the Cardinal Saturday.
Cardinal View.
Cardinal View. They always mess it up. And literally, I sat on the edge of the couch and just watched her reaction as she moved from room to room. And she kind of went, I said, oh, yeah, we're sold. It was done. So she loves it. So she may be trying to move a crock pot. I'm just letting y'all know.
Ah, okay. Good to know.
Yeah, she loves it. She fell head over heels in love with the dorm. And then she was like, yeah, I'm going to go to Lamar. And I was so awesome.
Great.
Well, thank you so much. And we will see everybody soon, hopefully. Yep. See you in August.
Oh, yes, we'll be dropping her off. Yes.
We will see you then. Thank
Y'all
you guys
have a good
so
one. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.